video, I'm going to talk about how I manage my time as a student. Hey buddies, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Tanishka and I welcome you with warm hugs. Here on this channel, I share study strategies, tips and tricks to excel you in your studies, and advice on how we can live a productive life as a student. Timestamps are included down below in the description box so you can navigate the video, but I would recommend you watching everything because each and every one is crucial. First of all, I would like to apologize for delayed posts of the videos. Actually, I was in the middle of something and now I am completely free of that, and there will be regular updates coming up on YouTube and regular uploads as well. Let's dive in. Now, before telling you about how I manage my time as a student, let's understand what is exactly time management. So, according to Google and Wikipedia, time management is the ability to use one's time effectively or productively, especially at work. This applies to almost everything other than work. For example, you are going on a vacation and you need to pack for the vacation. So if you organize your clothes and accessories in an organized manner into your suitcase, there will be a lot of space left already for you to tuck in more objects. Same logic goes for time as well. So if you utilize time in an organized and efficient manner, you will get a lot of time left from your 24 hours, which seems to be very less, to do other work as well. Time management is important because time is the only most valuable, non-renewable resource on earth. So before getting started and before learning about the methods that I used to manage my time, I would like to talk about the mindset first. You know what, there's a myth that I don't have time for this. And I think it's completely lied. If you don't have time for this, or if you don't have time for something, it is just not important to you. You need to understand that everyone in the world has 24 hours and so many of them are managing their time very efficiently. So if they can do it, why can't you do it? The reason why you're not able to manage your time is that you're not using it efficiently. You are managing, organizing your time. You're wasting your time into many unproductive things. There's some mistakes that you're doing and you just need to stop doing those mistakes. That's all. All I want to say is that modify your mindset from I don't have time for this to I'll make time for this. That doesn't mean that you start doing random things in random time and you start saying yes to every task you're given. Your friend says, hey, I'm going to go hang out today. You need to say sorry if you already have some tasks to do at that point of time. Otherwise, if you are on track of your time and you don't have any tasks to do at that point of time when your friend is asking you to go and hang out, just go, enjoy. It's not a big deal. Next thing I'm going to talk about is everything or nothing mindset. This is for all of us who are perfectionists and procrastinators at the same time. Imagine you have revised all the topics for your upcoming exam. When you go to the exam, you find out you haven't revised one single topic and you go like, oh, I'm going to fail the exam. Only thing that's going to happen realistically is that you could lose some marks in your exam. That's okay to lose some marks if you have given your 100% because that's what matters. There are 3 steps that I use to manage my time as a student and I hope it will help you as well. Step number 1 is planning. So when it comes to planning, every Sunday, this is a habit I have done from the last few months. And every Sunday I sit down with my planner and my Google Calendar and I plan my week ahead. This might work for some of us and may not work for the others, but that's already fine because we are different, our learning styles are different. So there can be other methods for you to plan as well. Yeah, I totally understand that sometimes there can be some mishappenings or some misoccurrences and you might go for some emergency purposes. You might not be able to be on track for some emergency purposes, but that's already fine because you can modify it because your calendar is going to be digital one. While I have planned my week, when the day comes, let's say Monday, and I need to actually start working, the very first thing I do is I list down the tasks I need to do on that day, which is my to-do list, with an order of the day. I'll explain you what is the order of the day. So order of the day is basically the most difficult and dreaded tasks that you feel like procrastinating on doing it, but you have to do it. So you do that in the very beginning of the day so that you can relax throughout the day and do all the leisure work. Basically, you finish the most difficult and tough task for you, the dreadest one, at the very beginning so that you can drag the task out throughout the day and the present work that you're doing, you can give out the 100% focus. I'll tell you, Google Calendar is the most efficient and best digital platform for you to plan your days and weeks and months, whatever you want. It's completely free, so you do not have to pay a single penny for it. Another method I'm going to talk about here for planning is known as batching. So batching and time blocking is one and the same thing. Basic idea here is to time block to schedule some time in your Google Calendar to do a certain task. For example, from 2:30 to 4:30 in the afternoon, I am going to study, let's say, chemistry, chapter 2 of this topic. So you're measuring the time. Now, this is the time I'm giving to this particular task. It helps you structure your entire day with time blocking method, so you can identify which blocks of time you have to waste. And I have a tip here for you that when you are blocking your time in your Google Calendar, first take out the time for you to waste. Trust me, by doing this, you actually avoid and delete that temptation of going ahead and scrolling Instagram or doing whatever leisure activity you want to do, which is unproductive at the same time. Step number 2 is prioritizing. And when it comes to prioritizing, the very first method and the very first concept that I wanted to introduce to is the Steve Covey's time management matrix. So let's understand what is time management matrix, the Steve Covey's time management matrix by its definition. The Steve Covey's time management matrix is a framework for prioritizing your time and tasks for optimized efficiency and productivity. So this method was created by Stephen Covey or Steve Covey, who is the author of the book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Basically, in this method, you divide your tasks based on urgency and importance. There are 4 quadrants which help us do that. So the very first quadrant, which is quadrant number 1. So quadrant number 1 tells us about the urgent and important tasks we have. Second quadrant tells us about the not urgent and important tasks that we have. The third quadrant tells us about the urgent but not important tasks that we have. Fourth quadrant tells us about the tasks which are not urgent and also not important. Example of the first quadrant may be that you're preparing for a test that is tomorrow. Example for the second quadrant may be that you have an exam which still has more than 6 months of time and you're preparing for that or spending time with your family. Example for the third quadrant can be the assignments or projects that you have. Example for the fourth quadrant are the social media, Instagram, Netflix, and so on and so on. Now, according to the 4 quadrants that we have, you will have to finish the tasks which are there in the first quadrant, then the second one, then the third one, and last but not least, the fourth. The thing to keep here in mind while prioritizing is your energy portfolio. So what is your energy portfolio? Basically, you have an energy scale while you are working throughout the day. Sometimes at some point of time in the day, you may not feel as productive as you were in the rest of the time. For example, if I take my example, in the mornings and evenings, I am a very productive person, but when it comes down to afternoons, they are very difficult for me to get some productive work done. So my energy scale would go something like this. Now the last step for the time management thing here for me is the consistency. Now I really can't tell you how you are supposed to do the task specifically, but I can tell you how you can avoid procrastinating while you're doing that one. By using Pomodoro technique, this is something I feel like very helpful, super helpful. And if you're someone who lacks motivation while working, and if you're someone who is not able to focus on the work efficiently, so you can use the Pomodoro technique. It's very easy. I have explained about Pomodoro technique in the last video that I had, the previous video, which you can check out in the description box or I'll link here in the cards. So let me tell you what is Pomodoro technique in brief. So Pomodoro technique is a time management technique wherein you have this time blockage thing. You can focus for, let's say, 40 minutes or 50 minutes and take a break for 20 or 10 minutes and so forth. So let's say you're focusing for 50 minutes. So you're going to take a break for 10 minutes and again focus session for 50 minutes and again take a break for 10 minutes. So you go on doing this and in this method, but Pomodoro technique may not be helpful for many of us, many of you actually, not me, because you actually break your concentration in between while you are working, while you are studying, and while you're focused on a particular task. So that's all for today. Let me wrap it up for you, summarize for you. The very first thing I talk about here is the mindset, that you need to modify your mindset from I don't have time for this to I'll make up time for this. And then I talk about the mindset of all of us who are procrastinators and perfectionists at the same time. Spoke about the 3 steps for time management for me. That is your planning, prioritizing, and consistency. Before you depart, I would like to remind you to subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any future uploads. And you can follow me on Instagram. My Insta handle is there in the description box. Or you can send me an email at my email address. That's all for today. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Gracias.